Hi guys, I'm Ankita Thadani, co-founder of Secret Alchemist, and today we are here for another episode of Hear It From The Alchemist, episode number 5. Today we're going to talk about all things cortisol and comfort food. It's something that I want to learn more on, who hasn't binged eat through the night thanks to all the stress levels we are facing. So with us we have Dr. Juhi Agarwal, who's a clinical nutritionist. Juhi, why don't you introduce yourself?
First, thank you for having me here. It's really
I should
nice.
be thanking you, but okay.
It's really nice to have these conversations and get it out there to people. So I'm Dr. Juhi Agarwal. I'm a nutritionist and a doctor. I did my MBBS and followed through with a postgraduate diploma in nutrition, after which I went on to further study diabetes.
Okay.
And then joined my mum in her practice of nutrition. I've been working with her since the last 6 years, and she's actually someone who inspired me to take on nutrition because she's been doing it for the last 25 years, and I've been seeing her seamlessly and passionately help a large number of people prevent a lot of diseases and manage them in a way that keeps them healthy and happy.
Right.
So I decided to try to merge medicine and nutrition and be able to help people lead a healthier, science-backed way of
much
living.
needed. And I love how I think the inspiration was your mother, and for us also the inspiration to start the brand was my mother.
Oh wow!
She's a clinical aromatherapist, and I since childhood was helping her make and package these aromatherapy products. Honestly, that's how I got immersed into the field and started the brand. I know everybody knows Dr. Suman Agarwal, so you all can research. But I'm glad that both of us have a similar journey because the inspiration has been our mother, so that's great. So how we like to structure is they'll ask you some 5 questions based on this topic.
Okay.
And then if you can help our consumers, listeners to kind of understand this better.
Okay.
Starting with Juhi, can you explain what cortisol really is and how it affects both our stress levels and sleep patterns?
Okay, so cortisol has gotten a really bad rep
Very bad
of late. Okay, let's break it down first. So cortisol is basically a hormone that is secreted by your adrenal glands. So there are these glands that sit on top of your kidneys, and they are secreted by your body during any periods of stress.
Right.
Now the stress can also be actual danger, or it can be day-to-day stress, whether you're running late, you have to go in for an exam, or just an argument.
Correct.
Okay, so that's when you're stressed out, your brain signals your adrenals to secrete this hormone called cortisol. What cortisol does in response is that it makes you ready to fight this or deal with this stress.
Right.
So it mobilizes energy, so your brain can use up that energy to be able to deal with whatever problem you have.
Okay.
It also decreases your inflammation levels temporarily, and it has an effect in your sleep as well.
So the second question we have for you is, when we are stressed, why does the body crave sugar and comfort food so intensely? All of us have been there, binge eat through the night. So
And it is something that's important to understand, because otherwise you're always going to be guilty.
yeah.
So there is a biological reason for this, and that is, again, when you're stressed out, your adrenaline and your cortisol levels are increasing, and that is primarily to give you that energy to deal with that stress.
Right.
So what it does is it makes you mobilize any quick source of energy that you can. How do you get that? From fast digesting, easy to absorb foods. So that is more carbohydrate or sugary rich foods.
Right.
Now you are going to reach out for those foods when you're stressed out. You just need to plan for it better. And that's literally what you need to do. You need to make sure that you have some carbohydrate rich foods which are not fried. So instead of having chips, look for khakras or makhanas.
Yes.
If you're looking for something sweet, keep some fruits with you. Carry some nuts which can again stabilize your blood sugar levels, and plan your meals so that you have kept specific times to eat throughout the day, which you can repeat again and again, because that's when your body learns that, okay, this is when I need to eat, this is when I'm going to be hungry, and it's not going to cause sudden dips or sudden sudden dips in sugars where you suddenly crave a lot of food.
No, right, makes sense. Even
And
carbohydrates are such a bad name, but yes.
No, carbohydrates are
Dig into that also later.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like cortisol, I feel carbohydrates also have a terrible name. So yeah. Yes, this is also interesting. We hear so much about magnesium for relaxation. Can you explain how magnesium actually supports the nervous system and helps manage cortisol? Magnesium is like the buzzword, right? Everybody now is taking magnesium for better sleep and
sleep.
correct.
But
So
it does
what do you
help.
think? Oh,
I
yes.
really feel that it does help. I feel that we are not getting enough magnesium on a day-to-day basis, and I feel like it also gets depleted a lot faster. So because of this high stress environment that we're living in, because we are so stressed out, our cortisol levels cause a dip in our magnesium because you're requiring magnesium to function as well. So if you're using up so much of your magnesium and not being able to supplement enough of it, that's when there will be a dip in it. So there will be like a subclinical deficiency of sorts. Now, how does magnesium help relax you? What it does is it prevents the calcium from entering your nerves.
Okay.
Just to make it a little easy for listeners
Yes.
to understand.
Right.
So it blocks the calcium from entering, so it stops the nerves from like becoming very jumpy. So you know how anxious and jittery you are? It calms that down. And secondly, what it does is it just helps your body go into that rest and digest zone. So it pushes you to go into the parasympathetic nervous system, which makes you go into the rest and digest zone. Which is by also increasing this chemical or this neurotransmitter called GABA, which is what causes your mood to like relax and calm down. So magnesium helps you do that, and it also benefits you by bettering your sleep because of this. So magnesium glycinate specifically is a very good salt for that. Or you look at magnesium rich foods.
Right. Magnesium glycinate is what we have on our mist as well. But yes, completely. Is there any preference of that magnesium should be taken as a dosage through a pill, or it's okay to be done via creams and mists topically?
So I would say both are fine. It also depends on what dose you require and why you require it. So if it's a proper, like if you're going through periods of anxiety, stress, maybe a pill would do better. But if you need it for sleep, light sleep, or just if you feel like your sleep has gotten affected of late, then a mist or a cream would also work.
Interesting. What are some everyday foods that naturally help regulate stress and boost emotional well-being? Some healthier alternatives that we can all have.
So, see, the crux of the matter is you need to fix your sleep and stress. Like, if you're not going to fix that, nothing else is going to work.
We also teach the same things to all our consumers. I mean, you put 7-step Korean skincare routines are happening, but if you're not sleeping well, what are you going to do with that? So, it makes sense.
So, your pillars need to be strong, but on a separate note. The foods that could help you are foods rich in magnesium, foods rich in this vitamin called B6. Probiotic rich foods, and the underrated one called underrated like game changer, which is hydration.
Oh,
because like if you need to know that your brain is made up of 75% of water, right? And you need enough water to make sure that your neurotransmitters are being produced and used up for the transport of nutrients, for the absorption of nutrients. So many things your body requires enough water for, and when you're dehydrated, your body perceives it as that you're stressed, so it'll push up your cortisol. So it's a very underrated but powerful hack that people should really adopt. Just to break it down, foods rich in magnesium are going to be leafy greens, nuts and seeds, whole grains and lentils, to name a few. B6 would be a lot of like dairy is really high in B6. Chicken, fish, eggs. Vegetarian sources are the same as those rich in magnesium. Bananas, of course, potatoes, of course, and pulses. And probiotic rich foods, I think everybody knows. Your yogurt for sure, and fermented foods, the newer ones, which are like kimchi, kefir, all of these. And also just making sure you're having enough prebiotics for your gut. That means making sure you're having enough vegetables in a form that suits you. So a lot of people tend to have vegetables which are like raw vegetables, increase vegetables by having more salads, but that may not be suiting your gut if you're not used to having so much fiber at one go. So have it in a cooked form, have it as a sabzi, as a stir fry or a sauteed vegetables. That will help your body digest it better and make sure you're hydrated.
Makes sense, yes. If someone is trying to balance their stress hormones through nutrition, what would your top 2-3 lifestyle tips be?
Okay, so this is basically a sum up.
I'm sure.
So sleep, I think, is you have to prioritize sleep. You don't prioritize sleep, you're not going to recover, you're not going to rest, your cells are not going to be able to regenerate. and that is the key to good health, and it is the strongest pillar towards good health. Like the moment you if you have constant deprivation of sleep, you're going to affect your immunity and open your gates into calling out to chronic diseases, whether it's diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, whether it's acute infections like the one that's going around, whether it's virals like COVID, any sort of infections. You're literally opening the gate and saying that, okay, listen, come at me.
You're more susceptible to all of those.
Yeah. So the first I think would be sleep. If you need to take magnesium, you should take the magnesium. Don't be scared of supplementing for good sleep.
Right.
But sleep is the seed of good health, always. And then the second, I would say, timings of your meals. So a lot of people, clients who come to us, I feel with gut issues especially, since your gut and your mind are very strongly linked or connected, the moment your gut is off, your mood is off, and your stress levels increase. When your stress levels increase or your mood is off, your gut takes the hit. So it's like a vicious cycle that you need to break. Now the first thing that the clients come to us with gut issues that we address is their meal timings. Because if your meal timings are not correct, you're not going to be satiated, your mood is going to be up and down, your sugar levels are going to be fluctuating, you're going to reach out for foods that are easily available to you, and that is more likely processed junk food.
Right.
So if you plan out your meals as per the same times on most days, keeping a 3 to 4 hour gap between your major meals, that is your breakfast, lunch, snacks and dinner. This is like something that now comes naturally because that's how many times I've said it. You need to have your meal timings correct for you to make smarter choices towards good health. And third would be, let's see, my top tip.
And your sleep and food would be one. The third,
Exercise
is what I would
Exercise is, but I think everybody,
But it does help with like
It does.
reducing cortisol.
It does.
I
It
just
does.
feel like it puts me in a better mood.
It does. But
all of those.
I would say that now people have gone again the other way. They're really pushing themselves to work out,
Even when they might be super stressed, not slept well, not eaten well, but still working out.
and
That's
under
also-
eating and working out more, and that is also negatively affecting the health because again it's fighting your cortisol.
Right.
So I think workouts that work well for you, also incorporating specifically for people who are more stressed out, also incorporating workouts around slow workouts, whether it's yoga, whether it's taking up even meditation, whether it's taking up
Right.
some form of breathing. I mean, every person is individual. Everyone is not going to enjoy maybe they won't enjoy a 1 hour meditation.
HIIT
Yeah,
exercises.
yeah. You need to calm it down and see what works for you.
Makes sense. Okay. So the three would be sleep, better eating, smarter eating, and working out, I'm guessing. Okay, makes sense. Thank you so much, Juhi, for answering the top 5 questions for us and helping people understand the relationship of cortisol and food.
Okay, so Ankita, I have a few questions for you because I've
Okay.
always been also a little more intrigued to know about aromatherapy,
Okay.
and I want to know a lot about your brand as well because I love the name.
Okay,
So I'm
thank
going to ask
you.
you a couple of questions.
Yes.
Okay, so Ankita has built such a beautiful wellness brand. What was the aha moment that led you to aromatherapy?
So honestly, it was not a big aha moment. There was one, but I think there was a series of small ones, and especially being immersed in the field right from the beginning, I was using the products, loved the science, used it myself. I went ahead and actually did architecture. I went in a very different path. I was doing a lot of high-end residential projects, and the first year of COVID hit. My mom had a salon through which she was kind of, making these products, and she decided to retire. I was sitting at home because none of the architectural sites were working. And I still remember it very clearly sitting on the dining table where my mom still got a call from her client and saying that please give me the bottle, please make it, I really love it, I want it. And my mom was like, I'm done, like I'm tired, now I no longer am I want to, make more aromatherapy products. And I was like, she's getting so many calls from her client, people still love her products and are asking her. I myself love it, used it all through my years. It honestly started, that was the aha moment, and that's where I, as a passion project, started redesigning and repackaging her products itself. But I would say that would be that pivotal moment which I clearly remember during lockdown when that client kept calling her and asking her for the concoctions. And she was like, I'm really tired and all of that. And that's where I was like, okay, no, if people love it so much, I have used it, I believe in it, I need to kind of take it to the next level. So yes, that would be my aha moment.
COVID has really done, like, changed
Amazing things for
like,
amazing people, but obviously it was a hard kind of time for all of us.
Really pushed everyone to their
Limits, yeah.
Understand what they truly want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, from your experience, how can essential oils help people struggling with anxiety, emotional eating, or sleep issues?
Yeah, so the way you spoke and obviously educated us about cortisols, it's something which we also work very intensely on, because I feel aromatherapy helps a lot with anxiety, with stress levels, helps in reducing your cortisol levels as well. We especially have a range called Calm, which is in the form of a mist, in the form of a body cream, and in the form of a roll-on, which has all the essential oils that are known to reduce your cortisol levels. And we actually got a very intense clinical study done behind it as well to prove, right? Because I feel aromatherapy is such a nascent topic, people still don't believe the powers of it, and it's very loosely used at any shower gel with lavender, they'll be like, aromatherapy.
And they put very little amount.
Yeah, very little, and a synthetic variant, not to quote any, but if you use the purest of essential oil, it helps you in like feeling better, being more in sync with your body.
Right? Normally,
Absolutely, it's barely less than 2% in the entire carrier that it is in. So we have that entire Calm range. We got clinical study done, got graved. So there's something called as perceived stress score. Even you must be knowing about it. We used there was a study where 45 people actually got together, used it for 45 days, and the stress score went from 14 to 4, right? Like on the usage of our products. So we got a clinical study done as well, and they have essential oils like lavender. I'm sure you must have heard of lavender being the hero essential oils.
Yeah, when I was in London, I was studying, doing my nutrition there. I've never lived alone as such. So
Right.
I had a lot of anxiety and stress, and I wouldn't sleep really well.
Okay.
So that's when I started using lavender from another commercially available brand.
Correct. Yeah.
And that really helped me sleep well.
It's amazing, and lavender is great. Most people are aware of it. It's great for stress, but if you speak specifically for anxiety, I feel Lang Lang is the hero. It's known to kind of reduce your anxiety and kind of just be calmer. So that's why these essential oils have great potency, and I feel my entire Calm range has been dedicated to that, because even we truly believe that the stress levels are through the roof, right? Like people need to kind of do something about it. Stress is through the roof, so sleep cycles are gone for a toss.
And
It's
we
all a
go
vicious
through it.
cycle.
We
Yeah,
go
we
through
go
it. So
through it,
imagine
100%.
being aware we go through it.
Through it.
Imagine all the people who are not aware.
Yeah, yeah. And then people are looking for these hacks which is very easily they can incorporate in their life, right? There's no quick fixes. I'm a big believer of slow beauty, instant gratifications do not work in today's day and age. But what happens is aromatherapy is a very easy way to incorporate it into your life, right? You just put that cream, you use that mist. Those essential oils automatically, either through topical application or through inhalation, enter your body and help you, right? Which is where I'm trying to craft products that can seamlessly integrate and help you with your stress levels.
Okay, so can you share 1-2 blends from the Secret Alchemist that are perfect for calming the mind and body naturally?
Yeah, which I told you, right? My entire Calm range. So if you ask my favorite, it definitely would be the Calm cream. The Calm cream has Lang Lang. Yeah, it has lavender as well, patchouli, all of the essential oils that are help to kind of reduce your cortisol level. The thing I love about the body cream is that it has your hydrochloric acid, it has your shea butter, all your market-led ingredients that are known to kind of provide hydration. Any typical body cream in the market is supposed to obviously give you hydration and give you that suppleness, which I'm doing. But with that, I have used fragrance that is made functional in a way, right? I have used essential oils at which, when through skin being your largest organ, it gets absorbed into your bloodstream, it's known to kind of decrease your cortisol levels.
So normally, how do people use essential oils?
So there are two ways of using essential oil, either through inhalation or through topical application. Inhalation could be in the form of diffusers, candles, even roll-ons, right? You put it on your pulse points, you inhale the aroma. It basically triggers your olfactory nerve, sends signals to the limbic part of your brain to kind of help you calm down, balance your hormones and so on. Or it could be more in a topical format, which is in the form of massage oils, right? Like for PMS, for joint pain, like if say your knee is hurting, you actually put those essential oils in that area. It aids in lymphatic drainage, increases blood circulation, and helps you with the symptoms of the joint pain. So primarily two ways. There could be, you could make it into a cream. The carrier oil can be anything, but it's either through inhalation or through topical application that you
Nice. So you've been able to incorporate so many different, like normally if you go to someone who makes essential oils. It's always
Right.
one type that they give you. Now you can
Yes.
able to combine the two and then come up with your product.
So what we did is when I launched the brand, I had like 5 or 6 formulations. But I realized my top 2 bestsellers for obvious reasons were the sleep-inducing one and the stress-relieving, which is the calm. Now, if people were loving it so much in a roll-on format, I knew roll-on as a product is not very intuitive in nature, which is the reason I was like, let me make it into a cream or let me make it into a mist where, I can carry it easily, use it on the go and it's simpler, which is the reason we're coming up with like newer form factors so that people can use their most loved formulation in various forms.
Very
So,
nice.
yes.
Okay, what's your personal nighttime routine to wind down after a long and stressful day?
I don't know if you're going to judge me for it, but there are a few things that I tend to do. All of us are guilty of Netflix, right? Like, I feel when I was younger, I could get away with it, where I just watch Netflix and still drop dead asleep after that. But now also I watch Netflix, right? But I feel I'm very mindful that I still stop that binge watching, I would say 1 hour before I'm going to head for my bed, right?
Okay.
So I will watch that Netflix, but then when I go into my room, I am not switching on any of the devices. I do not look at my phone for 1 hour. I'm guilty that 1 hour could become a half an hour, but at least I'll try and see to it that I'm not touching the TV or the phone for the last 45 minutes that I'm going to go to bed. That is one thing. I also feel a warm bath helps a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it just helps you to kind of set the tone for the day. So I love having that warm bath, setting that tone that, okay, now I'm heading to bed. My room will be very dimly lit. It's something which I truly believe in because I think it automatically sends signals to your brain that you're ready to kind of wind down.
No direct light.
No direct light. It'll just be like one small table lamp which is in the corner. So for me, it's definitely no screens, having a warm bath, kind of dimly lit room, and then again guilty of using aromatherapy. So if not any products, I'll at least, I would say, like, have a candle, right? I have a dream candle. I just feel it just sets the mood of the room. The room smells amazing. It just has essential oils that helps me to kind of wind down. So I would say these are the 3 or 4 ways in which kind of I wind down. I sometimes read a book. I feel when I read a book, I automatically fall asleep faster, deeper somehow. So that's something that kind of again triggers my.
That's cool because when I read a book, I always
You
pick
read
up a
through the
fiction.
line?
No, I pick up a fiction so
Oh,
that my
then
heart is like racing.
3 or 4. No. I will like have a chill book and then read it on my Kindle and then I drift away very nicely to sleep. So yeah, that would be my routine.
Again, lastly, for someone just starting out with wellness rituals, what's the one small everyday aromatherapy tip that you would like to share?
So instead of going very hardcore of maybe incorporating, I would say, a body cream or using a roll-on, which could be very ailment-centric, I feel like you could just start with like a diffuser in the room. I feel that's a very easy fix.
Okay.
It's not very jumping bang on into the aromatherapy bandwagon,
Yeah.
but you understand even through a diffuser how it can kind of drastically change your life, right? The room
Easy.
smells amazing, there's that, it's a great environment, you are smelling the
And
essential
it's less
oils.
effort.
Less effort, zero effort, right? You just put some few drops in water and you're sorted. So I would say that's the easiest tip. Second would obviously be a diffuser, a mist, where you actually mist it into your room, mist it on your body, on your face. Again, a very zero effort kind of approach. But I feel these 2 are easy ways where you understand the power of aromatherapy, and that will definitely kind of kickstart your journey to trying and wanting to do something more in it.
I agree, and I feel like the only thing where people miss out again because they're so hell-bent on seeing quick results.
Yeah.
People just do it for a week and then they'll stop.
Stop.
What people need to do is do it for a month and
Oh my God,
then
that's a
feel-
mantra. You will not believe. We get calls, right? People will use our roll-on, dream roll-on, just for sleep. They'll use it one night, and literally we get a DM or we will get a nasty comment on one of our posts saying that didn't solve my sleep. I was like, how many times did you use it? We'll call them back. Like, how many times did you? She's like, I used it twice. I didn't sleep fast. I was like, how do you expect a lifestyle that has been so prone to not sleeping on time, having so many triggers, to kind of, for us to solve it in 2 days, right? We keep telling our consumers that even if you incorporate aromatherapy, please give it a chance of using it continuously at least for a month. And you will start seeing the effects, and after a month, I will not have to tell you that please continue using it. But wait for a month to kind of see that lasting
I
effect.
think that's the same thing with nutrition and
I'm
lifestyle.
sure.
It's like
Yeah.
people have to do it for at least 2 weeks to 3 weeks
Correct.
to be able to see how much
Yeah.
better they're feeling.
Yeah, I think that all of us need to kind of educate the consumer out there
Yeah.
that these instant gratification, these ads of instant some big relief will come out of it doesn't work. So yes, I think that's how we should sum it up, that whatever these lifestyle changes need to be done,
You need to
please
do
give
it
it time, please use it for at least a month, be religious about it, and it definitely will change your life.
For
So
sure.
yes. Thank you, Dr. Juhi. I'm so grateful for the time and for helping us understand the relationship between food and cortisol. I think everybody needs to not feel too guilty about binge eating and maybe just be smarter around it, and obviously help manage the stress levels better, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through exercise, sleeping right, or using aromatherapy. I think it's very important that we manage our stress levels considering the lifestyle and the triggers we are living in. So thank you so much, really appreciate it. And all you guys, if you have any comments, you can obviously DM us, leave comments, and definitely either me or Dr. Juhi will definitely answer them. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.